It's not
for
like
what?
we don't give like an application speech.
Correct. So. All right. Well,
Okay, thank you,
very
Kara.
good. Hello, Mr. Saban.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Yeah. We have spray colors on there.
Should have put on shorts
Shorts would be better.
before the snow
That would have
comes again.
stuck it to the
Mike, how are you?
shorts on.
Hi.
And then, I mean, there are parts of the country that don't observe daylight savings, so it's hard to even know.
Okay, we're going to get started, please. Okay, good evening. The hour being 6:30 PM on Monday, March 11th, 2024. I'd like to call to order the Village of Brookfield Village Board meeting. Would everyone please join me in a pledge of allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Bridget, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Ketchmark?
Here.
Trustee Cote?
Here.
Trustee Hendricks?
Here.
Trustee Niramatsu?
Here.
Trustee Gilhuli?
Here.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Here.
And President Garvey.
Here. Thank you, Bridget. We don't have any appointments or presentations at this point. So at this point, I will open up the meeting to public comment. Is there anyone that has any general public comment at this time? Sir, would you like to come to the microphone and give us your name, please?
Good evening. My name's John Broussard. I live on Park Avenue. Wanted to talk a little bit more about the venue on Ogden Avenue. And I know Mr. Carlson and Mr. Flores have talked a lot about this. I'm not going to take up a whole lot of your time, but I just had a couple of questions of my own that I don't know that have been covered that I hope we can get some answers to. Now, it's my understanding that the entity that was in there had lost their at once did not have a business license, and also their LLC has been resolved, had been dissolved. Now, I understand that the LLC has been renewed and that they have applied for a business license.
This is a pending matter with village staff right now. I mean, this is a chance for you to address the board. We don't turn it into a question or answer agenda session on the item. So if you have questions, I know staff would be willing to get your name and number and answer some questions for you after tonight's meeting, but it's just a chance to address the board.
Okay, but all I'm trying to find out is where the process is at with these people as far as reopening, reopening their business. So, because I believe we talked about that. Have they also applied for a liquor license?
Sir, I'll indulge you. They have not applied for a liquor license, and I believe. I think they might be in the process of applying for a business license. But again, we're not going to go through the whole process of where they're at tonight on this.
Sure.
Thank you. This is just, I mean, we offer public comment as a chance to address the board, but we can't turn it into agenda items because it's not on the agenda where we're discussing a topic because there might be other people in the neighborhood. If there's ever board action or something we're going to address, we'll put it on the agenda, then everyone will be aware of it, so.
All right, well, if that's the case, then the only other thing that I wanted to know, which I don't know was brought up before, I don't know if you have the answer to it, is when they were operating previously, were any citations issued to that entity?
Again, that's something that I'll let staff address with you afterwards if you could.
Okay, I'll leave a
Thank
number
you.
for them, and they can
Sure.
follow up on that.
And they will.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else? We don't have a left or right today, so everyone down the middle, so.
Hi. I have you guys highlighted, and I spelled everybody's name correctly today.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have a copy for you. Good evening, everybody. It came to our attention that an LLC was granted to Cynthia Gonzalez under the new name of the venue Brookfield for 9109 Ogden Avenue. I would like to bring to your attention that this same individual that was operating the venue after the code department shut them down, shut down the facility and was not allowing human occupancy. This is also the same individual that was running the space more like a nightclub than an event venue. Please take a look at the customer reviews I included in your packet. They address Cynthia as the owner directly. There's a saying that states, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It appears that Frank Gonzalez is trying to get around his previous problems by trying to open under a new business venture. I implore you, please do not make the same mistake twice. Please do not allow this business to reopen. The 25 to 30 residents that have been coming to these meetings on a regular basis have all the same concerns that we had on January 22nd, 2024. I also ask you to take a look at the other venue spaces in Brookfield, such as Irish Times, Joe's Saloon, the Brookfield Zoo, Hollywood Community House, the Jam Lab, Corkle, Community Support Services Academy, and Paisan's Pizzeria on Grand Avenue, which is just to name a few. They all have ample parking available to their guests. They're not relying on tying up public business parking places and the parking and street parking that should be available to all tax-paying residents that live on 4100 Park Avenue and 4100 Elm Avenue. Does Brookfield really need another venue space? A venue space that has encroached on our neighborhood and negatively impacted our lives for the past 2.5 years. I just want to thank you for your time.
Sorry, thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who wants to make any public comment at this point in time? Okay, hearing no further public comments, we'll move on to reports of special committees, please. Trustee Coctet?
I would like to make a motion to approve corporate warrant dated March 11th, 2024, in the amount of $1,665,231.94.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Cotey, second by trustee Kaluzny. Is there any highlights you want to point out on the warrant, trustee Cotey?
No, not on this one.
Okay. Do any board members have any questions or comments related to the warrant?
No.
Okay, hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Naramatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gahuli?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
In regards to DPW, the Streets Department has been very busy with C-Click Fix requests, replacing street signs and grading alleys. The Forestry Department has been prepping our parks, preparing for the spring. They installed the tennis and volleyball nets, and they're fixing the fence in Field 5 in Ellert, and they've also were busy removing graffiti. Utilities were busy with B-box replacement and cleaning out catch basins. As always, if you see an issue in town, please use C-Click Fix. That is the quickest way to get resolution to an issue that you see from Department of Public Works. In regards to the library does have a new application that you can download onto your phone. You can go to the Apple Store or Google Play, look up LSF Library, Brookfield Library, and you can find that app. And therefore, you can have all the services of the library, or at least most of the services of the library there at your hand. I want to remind everybody that the library did team up with the Greater Chicago Food Depository, and they're providing afternoon snacks for school-age kids from 3 to 5 p.m., and that will be ending March 20th. They have been doing this since, I believe, October of last year. We do have food pantries in town. Tomorrow night is Tuesday. That's when the Share Food, Share Love food pantry is open. If you are in need or if you wish to help, please contact the Share Food, Share Love food pantry. They're always looking for volunteers. It is a very discreet area, so you need not worry about anything if you are in need of anything. If you are a veteran and you're looking for mental health assistance, you can go do so through the Jesse Brown VA Medical Center. If you call 312-569-6177, they'll start you with enrollment. If you are struggling, if you're having issues, if you need help with anything, you can dial 988. If you're a veteran and you're having issues and you need assistance, please call 988, hit option 1. The VA does have a national coaching to care program. They have licensed psychologists, social workers, and we'll talk to you by phone free of charge to help you navigate your way around the VA system. To speak with a VA coach, you can call 888-823-7458. We have other resources via the Veterans Affairs of Cook County. You can find out more by going to our village website. You can go to community, and you'll find a link to the VACC website, and that shows you plenty of other numbers that can help you if you're a veteran in need. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Gotay. Trustee Gahuli, Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, the Chamber of Commerce had their monthly meeting today, and they are planning many events for this summer. So those plans are already underway for things like the 4th of July Parade, the car show, National Night Out, and many other things. So more on those to come as they move a little bit farther along in their planning. But I wanted to tell you about two things. One, don't forget that Dancing with the Chamber, this is a big event coming up on April 27th. This will be at Riverside Brookfield High School, and just a really fun time for everyone in the community. So keep an eye out in storefront windows and on Facebook through the Chamber website and on the Chamber Facebook page, as well as many other people's pages. I know it's being shared a lot, to be able to buy tickets and get a little $5 discount if you use a number of different codes on there. A lot of people have different codes. You can, those will all be available on posters that'll be put up around town very shortly. So I hope you all join us there. I was able to attend a Visit Oak Park event last week. This is related to tourism, and we were lucky enough to have the president of our state tourism board there, as well as the director of civic engagement for the host committee for the Democratic National Convention, which is coming to Chicago this summer. So the end of August, from August 19th to 22nd. This is going to be a huge event for our region. No matter where you sit on the political spectrum, this is going to draw over 50,000 people are expected to come to the Chicago region. So there'll be, of course, the huge events in McCormick Place and the United Center are the two big venues, but there will be a lot of ancillary events going on throughout the city and throughout the region. So one thing I shared with the Chamber of Commerce today is they're going to have a preferred vendor list. So if you do have a local business, or if you know of one, they have a website called chicago2024.com, and you can get on a preferred vendor list there and get in the directory for all of those various event planners who will be putting them together, whether you're supplying swag, food, entertainment setup. There's a lot of opportunities. So I'm really hoping that this is a great opportunity for our local businesses to get involved with that as well, because there will be a lot of different events, both in the week leading up to the convention and then following. They're expecting about 15,000 volunteers. There'll be delegates from all over, as well as those just 50,000 visitors attending. So pretty big deal for the Chicago region. What else there? That's about it for now. Those were really the big things. We do have one of our chamber members on the agenda for tonight under our regular business. This is Miss Clara, who has been going through the process to take advantage of the property improvement program. So nice to see that program getting some attention and being taken advantage of. The next chamber meeting is the second Monday of each month, and it will be in the lower level of the library, and everyone is welcome to attend.
Thank you, Trustee Gahuli. And thank you for attending that Visit Oak Park meeting. And as the board members, besides attending village board meetings, often attend meetings throughout the day for various groups and things that we belong to, which one is very beneficial to the village. So I just thank everyone for going above and beyond to keeping us out there. And sometimes it's important for us to be at these meetings. So thank you all. Trustee Hendricks, anything on planning and zoning?
The Planning and Zoning Commission's last meeting, they reviewed 2 cases that are on our committee of the whole agenda to discuss this evening. We can talk about it more later.
Thank you. Trustee Ketchmark, Administration, Economic Development.
The next meeting of the Economic Development Commission is next Wednesday, the 20th. I would report back after that. And the other item is Camaros has started the process of updating our zoning ordinance. Members of the board should have gotten the email to schedule the stakeholders interviews, which will be on the 21st or 29th of March. So if you haven't scheduled your time for that, just make sure you do that. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Ketchmark. Trustee Niramatsu, Parks and Recreation.
There hasn't been a Parks and Rec meeting since our last board meeting, but I just want to report quickly that summer camp registration is ongoing, but mostly waitlisted. So if you didn't snap that up quickly, you can get on the wait list, and hopefully spots will open up in the future. And then I just wanted to highlight the volunteer fair on April 21st is being run by a couple of our Parks and Rec commissioners, Patty Chimura and Mary Viscastle. So if you have any questions and want to volunteer in the community or have an organization that you need volunteers for, please sign up to participate in that event. The next meeting for Parks and Rec Commission is March 19th here at Village Hall. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Trustee Klusny, Conservation and Beautification.
Yes, the Beautification Commission has not met since our last meeting. However, I did want to mention, just to mark your calendars, that Project Nice will be at 8:30 a.m. on May 4th, which is a Saturday. So make sure that's on your calendar, and you'll see a lot more advertisement of that coming up. Their next meeting is tomorrow night, March 12th, here, and it'll be in the lower level of Village Hall tomorrow because of the voting will be all back out in the middle of this room. So if you're looking for us, we'll be downstairs. And then the Conservation Commission has had a lot of items going on. They last week or just 2 weeks ago held the South Kiwanis Concept Plan Open House here in this room. It was very well attended, lots of great feedback from residents throughout the community. It was staffed by National Park Service staff, village staff, the task force from the commission, and also residents. So people got to ask a lot of questions and get their questions answered, which was wonderful. Just want to give a big shout out and kudos to the task force and the commission for hosting that, and also all the staff support on bringing that event together. That plan is in progress, and it'll come before the village board as a proposal probably in April or May. So we'll look forward to seeing those next steps as well. And then also, we have a big item on tonight's Committee of the Whole, the introduction of the proposed sustainability plan. So I know there's lots of commissioners in the audience today that are looking forward to that agenda item. So I'll save more about that for later. That ends my report. Oh, I'm sorry. Their next meeting is actually going to be a special meeting because of spring break week. It'll be March 18th at 6:30 at Village Hall.
Thank you. I know they've been a very, very busy group. I was very impressed with the setup in the Village Hall here that night and the crowd. I couldn't stay for the whole thing, but it was very impressive to see the setup. And then, as we say, there's a major item we're going to be talking about shortly. So thank you for doing so much. In terms of my reports, the Solid Waste Agency and the WCMC have not met since our last meeting. With the Brookfield Zoo, myself and our village manager, Tim Weiberg, were invited to attend kind of a preview. The dolphin habitat is opening again after being closed for almost a year. So myself and Tim got kind of a sneak preview with some zoo board members and some other elected officials, and it was a very good evening. It was very impressive to see the new facility. Got a sneak preview of the show. I think the shows are going to open up to the public again, I think March 22nd, somewhere around there. But the Dolphins seem to be very happy to be back at home after they spent a year in Minnesota, which I didn't realize that the zoo staff basically went up there with them and spent most of the year with them. They kind of cycled back a little bit, but it was quite an impressive improvement. And I think when you get a chance to see the new facility, you'll be impressed. As we were walking in the South Gate that night, we saw the new Ferris wheel set up, and they were actually testing it that night, and the lights went on for the first time that night. So they will be, I think they're having a an event this Thursday afternoon where they've invited some students from RB maybe to be the first public members to ride it. And I think there's an official ribbon cutting on Friday morning that I'm going to try and attend if possible. But there is some really good things going on at the zoo. We had a great meeting with Dr. Mike Atkinson and zoo staff as we continue to work with them on other projects and their master plan. There will be a presentation of their master plan at an upcoming village board meeting as we move forward. So exciting times. And they, congratulated them on their, their new branding. I got my handy dandy water cup here, Brookfield Zoo Chicago. They put up new signs, new branding. We were very happy to be involved in that also, and knowing that we still got top billing. And the mayor of Riverside was a little jealous. He wanted to get Riverside in there somewhere, but it didn't happen. So as we said, it will always be Brookfield Zoo to us. So congratulations to Zoo as they move forward in this exciting new time for them. So that ends the reports of special committees. At this point, I would entertain a motion to pass the omnibus agenda.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Cote, second by trustee Gahuli. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Niramatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gahuli?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to the items under regular business. At this point, I'd entertain a motion to pass a resolution approving the Property Improvement Program grant request for 9213 Broadway Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Naramatsu, second by trustee Ketchmark. As trustee Gahuli noted, this is for Miss Clara's Brookfield Academy for Mini Musicians located at 9213 Broadway. Our Economic Development Committee heard an application and made a recommendation. Trustee Ketchmark, anything you want to add to the memo?
Just unanimous support from the commission on this going forward.
Thank you. Any questions or comments really for the board?
No, it looks beautiful.
It does.
Excited for it.
Yeah, and it seems like the PIP program is really picking up and moving forward. I think as we predicted, that once businesses saw the improvements happening and staff and the Economic Development Committee have done a good job promoting it, we're getting very good return for our investment. I mean, this is a $30,000 improvement, so, and we just expect more and more of this as we put this out there, so.
This is the third grant on that block, too.
It's, like I said, people see it, and hopefully there'll be more on that block and throughout the area, so. All right, seeing no further comments or questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Niramatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gahuli?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The next item, I'd entertain a motion to pass an ordinance approving a contract between the village and White and Company for providing landscape architect services for the Eller Park Phase 3 project.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Kaluzny, second by trustee Hendricks. Stevie or Tim, you just want to give a brief summary? This is the Eller Park improvements, but you want to talk a little bit about what's going to be happening? The board has a detailed memo, but I thought we have so much public here tonight that it might be interesting. Oh, does
Director
Luke,
Luke
I didn't
Gunderson
see, I
is
thought
here.
Luke was there earlier and he disappeared, so. Our Parks Director, Luke Gunderson's here. Luke, you're on tonight, so. You want to just give us a brief tease to the public as to what we're doing here?
Sure. Can everyone hear me? So the project will consist of renovating the playground, which will create a fully inclusive, accessible play environment with pour-in-place rubber surfacing to dramatically enhance the accessibility. The large picnic shelter that is near the playground there will also be renovated. There'll be a game table area with outdoor ping pong and chessboard picnic tables will be introduced to the park. The existing ball field on the corner there, to the bottom right on the screen, that'll be all renovated with new fencing, infield mix, regraded, and newly seeded turf outfield with accessible connections to the dugouts and spectator seating areas for the existing park pathways. There'll be a newly dedicated soccer field area. You can see there on number 2, and that'll be all renovated, as well as spectator seating will be added. to where you can see the number 10, the 1, 0. And then also included in it is the renovated Memorial Plaza, which is located right there at number 4. That'll be all renovated with low plant material, and it'll be a passive space for seating and then upgraded to the pavers. There will also be some green infrastructure that will be provided with the use of rain garden that'll be adjacent to the playground with native planting along with landscape improvements consisting of shade and ornamental trees, low grasses, ground cover, and perennials. The proposed improvements will be located to minimize site disturbance and preserve the existing mature tree grove on that northeast corner of the Phase 3 area. And then, as you can see on there, we received 5 total RFPs that were received. We put that out in the beginning of January, and then we closed it February 5th. As you can see on there, you can see the pricing of each of the proposals on there. And then this kind of goes over some of the evaluation criteria that we went through. So when we were looking at each of the firms, they gave their qualifications, the education and credentials, professional memberships and affiliations that they have, and then any specialized training or certifications in relevant areas. And then another criteria was the experience. We mainly focused on some of the amenities that are going to be there at the park, including the inclusive playground, the Memorial Plaza, the ball field, that kind of stuff. So when we were looking at the bids, we were trying to relate some of the experience that they had with the certain structures and stuff that we're putting in the park. And then also work history, we went through references. Each of them were providing us with 3 references of past work and to see if they were able to meet the deadlines and deliver on budget that we have. Then also another portion of it was method and approach, their design process, methodology, kind of going through the entire process from design to overseeing the construction of the project. And then, as you saw in the earlier slide, was the proposed cost breakdown. And then overall evaluation was what their compatibility is with the goals that we have. And then some of the communications and how they handle mentioning any changes, change orders and stuff to us, how they handle those processes. There's kind of a ranked for each of the landscape architects. All 5 of them did have high qualifications. They were all very qualified and able to do the job. All of them provided great experience and examples of experience that they have done. Work history, all of them provided a great work history. One of the key things, White Company, stood out. They had really good references, and references were able to describe good things that they've done in projects that they have. So they kind of stood out in that section. And then also their method and approach. After speaking with them in their interview process, they did stand out of all of these companies. And so we chose with White and Company for the project. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer any.
Thank you. And thank you for the very detailed description of the process and the steps you went through. What, if the board approves this, what's the proposed time frame?
The proposed time frame is to start with the design process here in March and April, with the hopes of getting a bid together in May, June, with the potential of start date late July and early August. It's a projected timeline.
Thank you. Do the board members have any questions?
I do. Can you talk to what kind of disruption there will be to other things that happen at the park, for like the parking lot on the west side, for like Western Conference Baseball, for Brookfield Little League, for AYSO? What kind of communications will go out to those organizations? I know today that the chamber was concerned because their national night out is August 5th, and I thought this might be happening just before then or around then. So what's happening there with all those various events?
Yeah, so there's kind of there's a lot of different community members who are using the park during that time. I've been in communication with AYSO. They use that area for soccer practice. I gave them the heads up. I kind of gave them the overall timeline of everything. There's also Riverside Brookfield Football Organization. I've already talked with them, gave them the heads up. They're the ones who are mainly affected. They use that field for their practices at the end of July until November. I'm working with them, seeing if I can find a different space in Ellard Park to be able to shift them. And then that obviously is going to affect AYSO, who uses those areas. And they were very appreciative of the heads up because they are in different communities, so they're helping transition some of their practice plans. It could affect the chamber with being August, but with it being in early August, it may be able to be done before that. Like the construction won't start, it'll start after that. And then those are the main organizations. And then baseball, we have Western Conference and Brookfield Little League. They shouldn't be affected too bad, except for some of the parking may be taken up by construction equipment and things that will be there when construction starts in August. But we're in contact with all of them.
Okay, thank you.
Regarding, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Regarding the baseball field that you're gonna fence off, is that the corner of Garrison and Elm? That's the corner there. So wouldn't that then prevent them from doing any more football practice in that whole area going forward, period?
So there is that, if you can see the two rectangles that are in the outfield, those are football fields that will be remaining. So it'll be a grass space that still will be available for football.
Okay.
And no affiliate group has rights to that field. They have some rights with the other fields. So that's more of an open recreation baseball field there.
So that won't be fenced in, the outfield won't be fenced in?
Correct.
Oh, I thought.
It'll be, so the fencing will be the backstop and then along the sides.
Thank you.
Around the spectator area.
Can you just give a brief description of your plans for community outreach and feedback? Maybe White's plans, if they gave you any details about that?
So once we have the kickoff meeting with them, we'll go over more details. But we have, we talked about in the interview, a multifaceted, whether it be online, we're going to do some online surveys where people can vote on certain amenity structures and stuff that'll be in the park, as well as having a community open house.
Thank you.
Luke, two items. The memorial bricks are being retained and reused, correct?
That is
For
the plan,
Chestnut
yes.
Garden. Right.
Correct.
And is part of this contract the project management going forward once we have the contractor in place?
Do you mean oversight of construction?
Right.
Correct, yes. So
that
part
is
of,
part of
part
it.
of the services, yes.
Okay, great, thanks.
It's exciting to have this grant coming to us, and it's going to be nice to have an inclusive playground put in here and have the updates done to this park. I'm excited for it.
I have one last thing. Does
Sure.
the maintenance plan for any of the new changes just fall within to the, whoever's doing, like for the rain gardens and everything else? Does it just get lumped into however we're maintaining it now? Like what?
Yes, so like towards the end of it, there'll be a maintenance transition plan that we'll meet with Public Works Department and how that'll be maintained going forward. That's all in the agreement as well with White and Company to help
It is
with
with
that.
them. Okay.
As Trustee Gahuli and Luke highlighted, I mean, there's a ton of groups that use this park and just residents in general, and there is going to be an inconvenience. It's just, there's no way to do this without it, but it'll be well worth the improvement. So as Trustee Gahuli noted, the best thing we could do is the communication up front and let them know. It'll be worth the wait. We've gone through this before with park improvements and field improvements. There's just a limited season to do these things, and it coincides with the season they want to use them. But when you obtain grants like this and want to do the work, you got to kind of do it in the time frame allowed. So I know you'll coordinate it with them and try and minimize the inconvenience, but communication's the key thing, so thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Nearmatu?
Aye.
Trustee Gahuli?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The last item is a motion to, I entertain a motion to pass a resolution to amend the Brookfield Avenue and 3700 block of Grand Boulevard resurfacing project contract to include the furnishing of professional design engineering services for the streetscape improvements on Grand Boulevard and Brookfield Avenue with Edwin Hancock Engineering in the amount of $71,500.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Cote, second by trustee Kaluzny. As the board's aware, this is a project, the Brookfield's Grand Boulevard area, we applied back in 2020, I think, through the Mayor's Council for funding for this. And as always, our staff and village engineer was very diligent in looking out, seeing that there could be some contingency funding available that would allow us to do even more with this project. So as you recall, the last couple committee meetings, we've talked about some streetscape improvements and design improvements to the Grand Boulevard and Brookfield Avenue areas. And I appreciate all the time that staff and the board members took to look at that and come up with enough to get an application out. So this is to provide authorization for Hancock Engineering to do the engineering for the application. So any questions or comments from the board? Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Nearmatu?
Aye.
Trustee Gahuli?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That ends the items we have under regular business. Tim, anything by the way of manager's report?
Just one item, and I don't want to steal Derek Treichels' thunder on the committee of the whole item on capital projects, but we do have a project currently underway that I'm getting panicked calls about, and that's the Burlington Avenue sewer work, which is already beginning at Creekside Park. They're starting there at the outfall where the storm sewer will meet the creek, and they're going to go west. We know there's an event coming up this weekend at our favorite Irish pub on all weekend, and they assure me, I know Derek's back there somewhere, they assure me that the contractor is well aware of Irish Times and the events that will be going on in and around Irish Times, and I've been assured that the construction will not impact negatively any of the potential fun things that may be going on by Irish Times. So that project will be long and arduous, and there will be closings, detours, and so forth. Signs are already up in preparation for it, and so the public is advised just to keep an eye on signage, keep an eye on our website. We are going to do a heavy amount of public education to inform the public of when things are going to be closed and where. But the project is going to be big, and it's going to be dirty for a while, but better when it's all done.
Again, communication's the key. In the course of my official duties, I stopped by Irish Times on Sunday to reassure Martin and staff. St. Patrick's Day lasts a long time there. There was some live music and a very large crowd there on Sunday, and himself and his staff were very grateful that we're going to, we got to get the project done, but because the work with Hancock and staff reaching out, we can get enough started now, and then after the main festivities and other establishments in that area also have St. Patrick's Day events. It will be a dusty and busy summer in that area, but as I addressed with the parks, there's no way to do such large-scale improvements without some major disruptions. So, but we knew enough not to do it before St. Patrick's Day. So, all right, that ends the items we have on the village board agenda. So at 7:06, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the village board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by trustee Gahuli, second by trustee Hendricks. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Nearmatu?
Aye.
Trustee Gahuli?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, the board meeting is adjourned at 7:06. We'll start the committee, the whole meeting in just a few moments, please. Thank you.